Today, we're talking about Breguet. Before we begin, I'd like to highlight a selection of Breguet pieces that are currently available in our boutique. This is not an attempt to cover the entire universe of the brand. Breguet is far broader and deeper than that. These are simply some of the models we're proud to present right now, and each of them shows a different, very strong side of Breguet. Breguet is not just another Swiss manufacturer. As a matter of fact, it's one of the pillars of watchmaking history. Tourbillon, Breguet hands, guilloche dials, many things we consider classic today exist because of Abraham Louis Breguet. So, what you're about to see is a curated selection. Different styles, different complications, different personalities, but all unmistakably Breguet. Let's start with the sportier side. A perpetual calendar is one of the most prestigious complications in watchmaking. It knows the length of every month, accounts for leap years, and doesn't need correction until the year 2100. In the 5327, Breguet executes this complication with applaudable elegance. Everything is perfectly balanced and perfectly readable, which is actually quite hard to achieve on a watch that shows so much. With honesty, this is not a watch for showing off. This is a watch for connoisseurs. It is very beautiful and looks stunning on the wrist, but its real charm is in the incredible scope of the watch. Now, finally, one of the most visually interesting pieces in the lineup. This is Breguet's Aviation piece. A pilot's chronograph, but executed with the refinement only Breguet can really manage. The case is in rose gold, which already tells you this is not a tool watch in the usual sense. It's a luxury interpretation of a military classic. You get a bidirectional rotating bezel, a high contrast dial, and a flyback chronograph. All elements designed for functionality, but wrapped in a very elegant packaging. This watch is unique. I know it may sound basic, but I'd hardly find a better word for describing it. It's for someone who wants a sporty piece, but refuses to compromise on prestige. The refusal to compromise, as you'll see, is a very common theme with Breguet. Now, let's move into a more classical territory. This is Breguet in its most traditional form. Yellow gold case, engine turned guilloche dial, Breguet numerals, blued hands. Very understated, but the more you look at it, the more you understand why Breguet is such an important brand and why their watches are some of the finest products of the Swiss watch industry, even after almost 300 years. The 5207 is about proportion, refinement, and timelessness. It's the kind of watch that doesn't really age. Next, something much more architectural and technical. This is where Breguet shows its mechanical soul. The tradition line exposes the movement on the dial side, inspired by Breguet's historical subscription watches. You literally see how each little move of the hands is created. When you see it for the first time, it does feel kind of magical. And on top of that, you get a GMT function, a second time zone integrated into the open mechanical display. The case is white gold, which adds a cooler, more modern tone to an otherwise very historic design. This watch is for someone who loves pure mechanics, someone who enjoys watching the watch work. Now, let's talk about high complications.
Now, something a bit more poetic. The La Musicale, Breguet La Musicale 7800. This is where Breguet steps slightly outside of traditional watchmaking and into something much more emotional. La Musicale is a watch which, instead of just simply measuring time, also plays it. This exemplar includes a musical complication. At the push of a button, it activates a mechanical melody produced entirely by the movement itself. And what's fascinating is that Breguet approaches this complication with the same philosophy as everything else. Refinement first. The dial remains elegant and composed, the case beautifully finished, and nothing feels excessive or forced. Even though it does something rather unusual, it still feels very Breguet.
If you want to explore Breguet, this is a very good place to start. And if one of these speaks to you, you know where to find us.